talking about musicians and cool things and stuff. It's the Holly and Josh Show.
Hello!
Goodbye. Oh, sorry. I forgot about... That was a bad cut into the show there. Welcome to the Harley and Josh Show, ladies and gentlemen. Harley's back.
I'm back.
He is.
Have you missed me?
Back again.
Yes.
Tell a friend.
But not too many people because, you know...
Well, maybe do, because we need the listeners.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
Welcome to the Harley and Josh Show, your music podcast by musicians. This week we've got some music by Salvador, our quiet friends, and Morgan Swan. We're going to be talking about PledgeMusic ducking and diving with their monies once again.
Yeah.
And we're also going to be diving into the wonderful world of censorship with hip-hop and whether there should be more censorship. Stick around to the end of the show to find out what we think.
Yeah, and our say goes, so, you know.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, once we actually say it, I mean, it actually becomes law. So
Yeah,
you know.
that's how it goes.
Harley!
Yeah.
What are we doing next week? What did you do, mate?
What did I do? Well, it's been a mad couple of weeks, actually, isn't
Yeah,
it?
has it?
I've been away off seeing all corners of the country and doing various events, which are not quite as musical as I like them to be, but also soundy jobs. So doing sound for events and stuff, all very good, very useful, and it's been good fun. I've enjoyed having some time off from kind of doing gigs and stuff. It's certainly a quieter time of the year for myself. I don't know if you found that.
Yeah, I've had it for the past couple of weekends. weren't so great, but this last weekend was good.
Oh, great. That's good to know. And you can tell me about it.
Oh, I
later.
will.
Yeah.
Oh, I will.
So I had a gig coming up with a thing called the Radical Lounge.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it got cancelled last minute. Not last minute, but a few days beforehand.
Too many ISIS members, or
Oh, yeah.
That's radical.
There was which was a real shame. I was really looking forward to playing with some really good musicians. We had one rehearsal and it sounded great. But the issue that came with that was that this gig came in, and since then a gig with Chart Attack had come by that we couldn't turn down. So I'd booked cover for it. So I had someone playing. We had Alex Lenton on bass. Alex Lenton from Connor Adams. He jumped in. He'd plays with us before, so he knew the set, and we had rehearsal. Turn up to the gig, all well and good. However, I was free for that gig now.
Right.
So instead, I turned up and I did sound for the first half of the set.
Great.
And then me and Alex swapped places and I played the second set.
Oh, right, cool.
By the time I found out I couldn't do the gig, I phoned him up and went, how far have you got with learning the songs? He's like, I've got the first set down, really happy with that. Second set, still working. And I was like, don't worry about the second set, just get the first set down and then have it easy. The situation you have with these gigs, when you cancel last minute, or if you decide last minute you don't need someone, they still deserve paying because they've booked that time off. He could have done another gig elsewhere if he'd have known plenty of time. So it would have been wrong to go, oh no, I don't need you anymore. And you know,
it's a bit hard.
So I was like, well, look,
you burned some bridges that way, didn't you?
Yeah, it's considered not a good move. So, but that was really quite fun. It was really weird to be watching my own band play.
Yeah,
that's an odd experience, but it was really good, and it was nice to know that it sounded as good out front as I always hope it does.
Good, yeah.
Which was really good. That was not this weekend gone. That was the last weekend. So because I've got so much catching up to do. This weekend, haven't done a lot of music stuff, but I did take my guitar away with me when I went away to Bolton, of all places.
All right. Yeah.
In the evenings when I had the hotel, I was playing some six string, just because I didn't want to take a bass and take an amp. I wanted to still be playing music stuff.
So not a strict six-string bass?
No, not a six-string
Okay,
bass.
guitar,
Just took an acoustic guitar with me and had some time. I don't know if I may have shown you the view from my hotel.
Yeah.
Looked over a football stadium.
Yep.
It was actually in the football stadium, looked over the pitch, and I got to watch the Bolton Wanderers practicing and having a session, which was quite cool. And I was sitting there watching, going, I don't know what any of them are doing. You know, just four guys just kicking a ball around, and I'm like, that's. I mean, not like even in a football way. They were just standing in a square and just passing it to each other.
Wee.
What about you? And
What was the job you were doing again? Oh no, we did talk about this on the show.
Did we talk about
We
this?
talked about how difficult it was to EQ that room because it was spread across one side of the room in a strange stage.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yes,
That was a thing.
that was a thing.
Yeah. Yeah, so there we go. Have I told all of this before then, perhaps?
Yes, you have.
Oh, wow. I've been gone too long. I've all of my weeks have melded into each other. It's lovely reverb in here as well, isn't it?
Is it? Well, we've got no more posters and stuff on the walls, so yeah,
No,
we're plastered right now.
Yeah. Well, speak for yourself. I've got to drive.
Oh,
But yeah, so thing I'm looking forward to tonight is I've got our first New Year's meeting
right.
with the band Chart Attack.
Okay.
We've got a gig New Year's. I don't want to spread too many details about it.
Okay.
I very much doubt many people will be able to come because it's quite far away. But
Yeah, it is.
the exciting part for us is we're expanding to a 5-piece, and we're meeting with everyone all together to kind of make sure that we're all on the same page. We know what's going to happen, and it's. I'm trying to be really organised. We're going to try and organise 4 rehearsals in a row,
Wow.
so we can get everything rehearsed, be absolutely solid, so we know exactly what we're going to rehearse on each day.
Wow.
Get everything sorted. And have the tech spec nailed down as well. So that's our plan for this evening.
It's gonna be good. Where do you meet up then?
We're still deciding on that one.
Can't organise an organisation.
We're organised, but we're not organised with where we're going to be organised because we're trying to find the right place that's nice and quiet for us to be able to talk. Last time we had a meeting, it was quite a busy place, busy venue, and it was hard to talk over people and stuff like that. So we're just trying to find a quiet room that's neutral ground for everyone.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's our the conversation that's going on as we speak. I'm not sure if anyone heard my phone buzz a few times. People going, I want to go here. So that is that.
I like going to Thomas Wolsey for that.
Okay.
In on St Nicholas Street, just because they've got some rooms upstairs that are sort of quiet and out of the way, and it's really old. And it looks great. So it feels like you're like a secret society meeting. It's like, did you bring your special mask?
That's a very good shout. I might pop in town. And
This is a very good shout.
Ah!
See, the reverb is great, isn't it?
It is really roomy, isn't it?
What else did you do, Harley?
That's about it, really. I mean, I've had a bit of time off. I went to Thorpe Park.
Nice.
That was fun. We got very wet.
Very good.
And we went very fast.
Very good.
And nobody
Is that
died.
just a drive up there?
No, the drive back was very slow.
Oh.
We left at 3:30 in the afternoon, got home at 10.
Oh, no
It took
thanks.
that long to get us home.
What did you listen to on the way?
So we listened to lots of country music.
Yeah.
I tell you what, there's a little thing I've noticed, right? And I'm sure many people have noticed this. If you listen to country music, compared to pop music, there's very little use of double track.
Oh, really?
Double track vocals. So there's a thing for anyone who doesn't know where you record a line and then you record that same line again, exactly the same words, no harmonies, they're sung in unison. And it gives you that kind of a fuller effect. It gives you a kind of chorus effect. It's used a lot in the choruses to kind
Foo
of...
Fighters, Dave Grohl.
Yeah, all of Dave Grohl is all double track to the point that there's a few points where you hear his single voice and you're like, oh, that sounds different.
Yeah.
Whereas that's very much not a thing in country production, which I found was really interesting. But yeah, we've been listening to...
I bet they do it with acoustics, though, with guitars.
Yes,
And
yeah. You will never find a better recorded acoustic guitar than in country music, I think.
Yeah.
It's just always sounds great. Like Brad Paisley, Josh Turner, all of that stuff. It's just really just... Everything's there. Everything's there. It's really cool.
Every part of the frequency,
Yeah. So we had a lot of that. We I've been listening to lots of Theo Katzman as well.
Who's Theo Katzman?
Who's Theo Katzman? So Theo Katzman is a singer-songwriter, but also one of the members of Wolfpack.
Oh, yes.
He does a lot of the singing, but he also plays a lot of drums, piano, and guitar. He's one of the everyman guys.
Right.
But as a singer,
Glasses and a beard?
that's the guy.
There we go. That could have been about three of them.
Does he have a beard? No, he doesn't have a beard. He's the guy with the glasses.
Oh, okay.
Not the glasses and the beard guy. I can't remember what his name is, but yeah, that was really cool. So he's got great voice.
This is like Guess Who, Wolfpack edition.
Yeah. If you know, the song Half of the Way.
No.
We're half of the way.
Now I know it.
Yeah, there we go. He sings that. Love is a Beautiful Thing, and a few of like the the higher vocals, and he's just great.
Mr. Falsetto.
Oh, wow, well. You can ask me now. What have I learnt?
What have you learnt last week, Harley?
What have I learnt? I've learnt the difference between falsetto and head voice.
Okay, yes, tell us, teach us.
And so this is a thing. I don't know I'm sure this is something you may be aware of, but I've gone through my whole life thinking that falsetto and head voice are just two words for the same thing.
Yeah, no, not quite.
Just like cup and glass.
No, because
I panicked.
No. Anyway, we're not going into this debate.
All cups are glasses. All glasses are cups, but all cups are glasses.
Oh my gosh.
Fingers and thumbs. Anyway,
I'm more interested in falsetto.
Okay, so you sing with your diaphragm when you're singing generally, and you can sing through you have a chest voice and you have a head voice, and the diaphragm. I could be complete because I'm still learning it. Yeah. So if you're singing with your head voice, but still using your diaphragm, that is known as head voice. But if you separate so you're not singing from your diaphragm, you're just singing just from your head, that's falsetto. And you do get a different sound. I don't want to try it on radio right now because if I do it wrong and go,
well, I think it would make for great listening.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna. I don't know. I'm getting nervous.
We all love it.
Okay,
You go, Harley.
So if you go, ha, that is what's known as head voice because I'm pushing with the diaphragm. Whereas if I go, ha, that's falsetto. And I think I did a very good example of that. You can hear the difference. It's a lot fuller with a head voice and a lot more breathy.
You can hear falsetto. The body kind of resonating a lot more with when it was head voice.
And that's where I'm learning that a lot more singers sing, like higher vocal male singers will sing in that range over the chest voice, which can be a bit bigger. And they're two completely different schools of singing.
There's a really interesting documentary on YouTube by Vox just about how much falsetto has been in popular music and in different times throughout musical history. At what points falsetto has been the most popular.
Oh, wow.
So it goes through the sort of 70s, but then there was a big resurgence with like Childish Gambino quite recently.
Yeah.
And so it was a really interesting watch. You might enjoy it.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, find me a link for that.
Oh, we'll put it on the page.
Put it on the page.
If you're not on the page, it's facebook.com/Harley and Josh Show.
Oh, yeah. I meant to open up with some housekeeping regarding that. But yeah, we've had lots of activity on our Facebook this weekend. Yes. I've had a lot of fun with our little competition. So if you're not on our Facebook, go check it out and have a laugh with us.
Absolutely, mate. So what was your favourite musical moment of last week, Harley?
My favourite musical moment, this is a thing, okay? So me, so when I went to Thorpe Park, again, this is not a particularly musical week for me, but it was great because I was in a car with 3 singers.
Great.
So me and Matt Hurrell, who we know from college, and he's an incredible singer, incredible performer, incredible musician of all caliber. We were sitting in the front with our respective partners in the back, who were both singers, and we were driving, and the girls were in the back singing All of the Way. Like, not the song All of the Way. But,
All the Way.
All the Way. But they were singing so much, they were harmonising and having so much fun. And I was just sitting going, I'm always really lucky to know musicians, but just to know people who are passionate about music. Yeah. And it sometimes takes moments like that when you realise that you're within the right circles. Yeah. And it was just really enjoyable. We were doing harmonies all together at various points, and it was just really good fun.
Music friends.
Oh,
friends. Well, very, very well done, Harley. I think, you should just be really, really happy with yourself. That concludes our news section. What Harley do stuff? Yes, Harley did. Let's find out. Oh, okay, we're finished now. Okay, good. Yeah, right, let's play some music, eh? This is from Ipswich's own wonderful rapper, Mr. Morgan Swann. This is his new single, Time Out. Check it out.
You said you need time out, baby. Yeah. Claim that I just drive you crazy. No way, can't forget those memories, yeah. Truth is, I need saving, yeah.
That was Morgan Swann with Time Out. Ipswich's own Morgan Swann is going to be playing this weekend. You can check out where he's going to be playing later on when we get to the gig list. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to, go on about myself for just like a couple minutes.
Please do.
do?
Yeah, what did you do? What did you do?
Oh, let me get there.
No, don't tell me now. Tell me now.
Well, it was half term last week.
Of course.
Absolutely loved it.
Uh-huh.
Because like we just had so much time.
Oh, right. Of course, because like how many days do you do in school?
I do 4 days worth of teaching a
Right.
week. And I just kind of left that a little bit, which was nice because
Had your own time.
yeah, just so I made sure to make it productive. We planned it the week before. I was like, okay, I'm not going to be teaching during the day on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, or Thursdays. So I've got to make that, make the most of that.
Yeah.
We still had All Stars. Got a T-shirt on right now, and on the Monday, so I used sort of that time to be going through all the bass songs for the juniors and the seniors, which we've got again tonight actually. So if you guys listening in have got any kids that want to learn how to play and want to be in a band, we have All Stars Rock School. It's all over Facebook, and it's really good for a community vibe as well as.
And it's opening up in Colchester tomorrow.
Colchester, it's going all over the place. This one's in Chelmsford.
Yes,
it's going to be worldwide, isn't it?
It is.
It's going to be
take
great.
over.
Absolutely, but we were here first. It was in Ipswich first.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were the trendsetters.
OG.
So, yeah, exactly. So myself, Rich, and Tom McCarthy made sure we used that time wisely. And Mr. Rich Webb has WebTunes HQ, which is his new studio that he's working in, that he's turned into like a mastering suite, production suite kind of thing, as well as a place that he can sort of get people in to record stuff. So we got the JS and the Buccaneers down there.
Yeah.
To record some of our own songs.
Amazing.
So we've started recording one of the songs that Rich has started is so good. It sounds so good. I mean, like I just came to them with 2 sections of chords and the lyrics. So I wrote chords and lyrics and melody for it, but the guys just came to it with such great parts that filled everything out. So yeah, they really fleshed it out as a song, and Rich has made it sound like a movie now. It sounds
really?
like a Hans Zimmer.
Always put orchestral.
Yes. Well, not so much orchestral, just more like the Hans Zimmer drums.
Oh, yes.
Like from Pirates of the Caribbean or from Dark Knight or anything like this. It's just Inception,
Yeah.
So yeah, some really great sounds coming out of that one from just Rich being a bit of a production genius. So I think you guys won't believe your ears once you hear it, that it just came from us 3 weirdos.
Yeah.
So yeah, that one's all about a hidden treasure in Costa Rica, which is just off the coast of Costa Rica. There's an island called Coco's Island, and the treasure that was stashed there by pirates in 1820 has never been found. So holiday.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of sharks though, so maybe not. So yeah, we used Tuesday and Wednesday to go over that. We also recorded some of Rich's songs that are pirate themed. So we're going to be doing loads of them. So they're all going to sound very similar, but like some of them have got different subject matter, which is a bit more modern. The songs that I've written have all been about historical accounts. And Tom and I are working on a very bawdy little number.
Oh yeah.
Yes, so we're trying to go for a funny track that might make people just giggle a bit and sing along. So yeah, trying to go for a Wild Rover style feel. Just no, nay, never, and but sort of mix it in with some humor.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, that was Tuesday and Wednesday. Used that. I mean, so basically we used a 57 and an SE condenser for like the whole thing. Rich has a Rhodes USB mic, which works really, really well, actually. So we did a lot of the vocals with that, all the gang vocals and stuff. There's some very strange gang vocals that have gone in there, which is supposed to just be like, yar and hurr. But there's a lot of it's just, yeah, blah, blah, blah. They're hidden in there somewhere.
I can't wait to hear this.
Yeah, it's going to be really good. I'll show you it actually in a little bit.
Oh, please do.
Yeah, I can't show you guys yet though. So Harley gets it, but you guys don't get it.
I'm special.
I keep telling him. So that was Tuesday and Wednesday. That was really fun. And Thursday, the Lockabillys and I got together to write some
so
stuff.
happy for you. Oh, right. Oh.
Yes. Well, it was fun. We got married.
Oh, nice.
Locker married. Or Maribillied? No. We went to the Central Audio, or Stan from the Downsetters place, and we wrote about 4 songs. Just sat down, some riffs that I already had, or some feels that the guys already had. Not like the feels. But the they'd be like, okay, we should do something fast, we should do something a bit edgy, we should do something a bit punky, we should do something a little bit more jivey, those kind of things, coming to the table with it.
You did a post on your Facebook, and you likened it, or you gave an example of a vibe that some of your music was having. What was that?
The Cramps.
The Cramps.
Really good sort of like horror punk, psychobilly kind of stuff.
I hadn't heard that before, but I was listening to it, and that got me really excited by the kind of the direction you guys are going.
Much not heavier, just a bit meaner.
Raunchier.
Yeah, a little bit punkier, just to sort of like get more of an edge to it.
Yeah.
So we wrote through about 4 things. We've got them as structures the whole way through. It's just writing lyrics for it now. And as it's kind of, we're tying these in with a storyline and a concept album style thing. It's a really interesting thing to be part of. That's why I really loved having that for half term, is just getting really creative and just trying out different ways of writing. Because that just really helped things. So on the Friday... Oh, no, nothing on Friday, so I won't bore you with nothing on Friday. We actually, on the Saturday, that was what the interesting thing was the Pyre Parade. Now, I'm not sure if you've heard about the Pyre Parade before. The Pyre Parade is organised by the Pasiti Company and the Rough Band, which is Robert Pasiti and Mark. They did it last year. Basically, what they do is they have somebody handcraft this sort of wooden sculpture of a tree that's in a boat. Okay. And they get about 4 people there. The Titan security that do a lot of the security around Ipswich, they carried it, and they had this procession of loads of people dressed up in these scary kind of pagan-like outfits that parade through Ipswich town it took us from about 7 until just after 7:30. From sort of the museum, so Museum Street, going through the centre of town and then up to Christchurch Park. So it's about half an hour walk. So at the front, they would have this procession of people that are looking like Death Eaters from Harry Potter. They'd have these big black hoods and these gold masks, and then they would have this choir leading on behind them that would be singing these bad news, bad news.
Oh, mate.
And what they've done is, throughout the week, I've told these guys last week on the podcast, but they have these boxes throughout Ipswich for the past sort of month, and they had these big black dogs that were supposed to be black shuck. And people basically put their bad news in there, so stuff that they dislike, mostly just Brexit. They basically, at the end, we went to Christchurch Park, put it on a bunch of pallets. It was chucking it down with rain. And so they put these sort of ballot boxes on there, covered it in sort of like lighter fluid and ethanol and stuff, and just chucked these massive, great big sort of what do you call them? Like these big staffs with fire on them,
stakes.
Yeah, that kind of thing. We've both forgotten words.
Torches.
Yeah, there we go.
How do we forget torches?
Torches. I don't know. We're not medieval.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, you're large evil, not medieval. It caught alight, but during that whole procession, Tom McCarthy and I were joined by Raina Vandell from East Town Pirates and the Lockabillies, going through the town singing all these sea shanties. And I'm going to skip ahead. No, I'm not. I'm not going to skip ahead.
Okay.
So we, basically rocking through town, getting people joining us from just coming out of shops. And then and joining in and singing with us. It was so fun.
Amazing.
We were doing old sea shanties. We were doing the Pogues. We were doing Galway Girl. We were doing Mull of Kintyre. We were doing all these different things that people knew the words for.
Nice.
But yeah, it was just really kind of interesting because I was playing mandolin for that one, and that one has 8 strings, and I broke 3 of them because it was raining and it was just getting super rusted up.
Of course,
But power through.
Mandolins, they're doubled up strings.
Courses, yeah.
So, how many of those strings were?
I was missing my A string by the end of it.
Oh, okay. So if I say in an
one...
ideal world, you'd have broken like one of a different string, so you still could make the note.
No, unfortunately not. But
alas,
we must, the show must go on, and it was really great, really great. We just like having people just joining in with us. Then after that, so once the burn had started off by a German guy called Bern, which I loved as well. So they started burning a pie by a guy called Bern.
Bern's nice.
We headed back to the Think Tank, which is just right next to the Ipswich Museum. Robert Pasiti Think Tank, where they just come up with all these amazing ideas, and there's loads of different events there. If you're into your different side of the arts, check them out. And just they're doing this biscuit competition at the moment. What's Ipswich's biscuit? And that's a Pasiti company brainwave.
Wow, I like that.
Yeah, but the Pasiti company are great. They're basically, their kind of motto is they're getting Ipswich to think about itself. Because there's so many people that work in that company that aren't actually from Ipswich. They've chosen it as their home,
as their place,
and they're artistic, and they're doing these amazing things within the community. And it's just kind of getting people around Ipswich to stop moaning about itself and start thinking about itself.
We are Ipswich.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it, yeah.
So after that, the Lockabillys played the after party. So the people came from Christchurch Park after burning down this great tree.
Yeah.
It was not a real tree, don't worry, hippies. When they walked back with all their amazing costumes, there's this great moth that they had had all these lights on it and things, and they had all these great. There was a couple of my students from one of the schools I work in were there as well.
Wow, nice.
So they're like, oh no, one of my teachers is here.
So uncool.
I'm supposed to be having fun here. But yeah, so we dressed up in our skeleton costumes.
Yeah.
Got on stage at the think tank. PA provided, which was nice, and we had 2 of those black shuck statues on stage with us.
Sweet.
And there's some pictures of it on Twitter at Lockabillys if you want to see what that looked like.
I'm gonna go find that right now.
It was a really nice after party. Really got mean and tried to sort of banish all the bad news. It was just a way of, it was a catharsism, really. That whole event was just people just being like, oh, I've been really annoyed, but then you could tell by the end of it, everybody's like, you know what, I don't feel so bad anymore. We've kind of gotten rid of it. So yeah, it was an expulsion of bad news. After that, we all went our separate ways. Tom Murray, Rainer, and I think, really enjoyed being part of that. It was a really nice thing to be invited to play to. They said that we were their first choice to be involved, so I was super grateful for that. So it's always nice to be up on the list.
Awesome, man.
So the next day, Rich and I went to the Forge in Ipswich.
Oh yeah.
We were playing a duo, and that's why I've got a little plaster on my middle finger, because I was playing double bass.
Nah, fair.
And no matter how many times I play double bass, there's always too big a gap in between, so I get a blister again.
Yeah.
So I've started using these little like mid-gig little magic gloves.
Oh, okay.
With grips on them.
They help, do they?
Yeah, they really do, because like otherwise I'll get mid-gig and this blister will be forming, and I just can't do it.
You can't just use normal gloves because they'll just slip off too quickly.
Yeah, exactly.
So you've got something with a bit of grip on there.
Yes, exactly.
Nice.
These little knobbly bits.
Yeah.
Little knobbly rubbly bits.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
that was really fun. I like playing at the Forge. It's chilled out gig. It looks nice in there. They've always got some good music in the background. Favorite part of the week.
Sorry. So what was your favorite part of the week?
Musical thing was walking through Ipswich town while everybody's singing "Way and up she rises." Way. There's about 200 people singing that with me, and that was so fun. That was so fun. So yeah,
you commanded that.
That goes in the memory banks. That one was being surrounded by torches, and it's great. And then my favorite thing I learnt, I think, was that I brought these songs to the guys to write that I wrote, and to the Lockabillys and the Buccaneers. But it's just sometimes other people know what's best for your song better than you do.
Yeah.
I think that's a really interesting thing.
Just have a fresh pair of ears and a fresh pair of mouths on it.
Yeah. It's like, you may have written it, but it doesn't mean that you always know the best for it. So, yeah, some of the guys that we get to work with in our profession are very well educated and know what a good song is.
Yeah.
So, lucky to be surrounded by Tom, Rainer, Murray, Rich, all these guys that have helped me to write some songs. So, yeah, eggs. Anyway, I'm going to shut up about that now. Cool.
It's the Harley and Josh show. Yeah.
Let's play some music, shall we? Let's play something by this wonderful band from Norwich. This is Our Quiet Friends. They're playing locally this weekend. Check it out. This is their new track, The Arrow.
The arrow.
That was Our Quiet Friends with their new track from their new album. That was The Arrow. So let's get on to some topics, shall we, Harley? Oh my goodness. It's serious music news, Nime. All right, Pledge Music is unlikely to pay nearly $10 million owed to artists, bank-appointed administrator says. Music.
What?
What?
Bring it back.
So, we've talked about this from bringing it back, guys. It never went. It's always in my brain. Yeah, we've talked about Pledge Music a bunch of times on this show. If you're not sure about this, basically Pledge Music filed its way into bankruptcy. Well, in America it's called bankruptcy, but here it's called going into administration.
Is that I've always wondered what the difference is. It's just America and the UK.
Yeah, exactly.
I've learned something today.
Every day's a school day, Harley.
It is.
Facts.
Yeah.
So, so back in July, Pledge Music filed its wind-up petition. Instead of heading into administration, Pledge Music executives just closed up shop.
Right.
Which is bad. The Royal Courts of Justice granted the wind-up order. That sent the company into compulsory liquidation, with the court appointed liquidated for the company's assets. Members of the indie sector have asked the government to investigate the issue, but that seems as unlikely as artists getting payout from the whole debacle. So basically, Variety, the magazine, obtained a copy of a report from the bank-appointed receiver that is dated October 21st. So the people that are sort of liquidating the company.
Okay.
Says, I do not anticipate that I will need to contact you again because there is unlikely to be a payment to creditors in this case. This is what the receiver said. If that changes, I will contact you. So many artists who are owed money, they've been advised to hire an insolvency lawyer in the UK. Benji Rogers, sort of head honcho, returned to the company briefly this year to try and salvage it, but the report paints a clearer picture of the efforts undertaken by Rogers, which is a pivot plan. It's right. It's put into place to try and find a buyer for the company, but the idea was just unsuccessful.
Well,
basically, it just didn't happen.
That's okay. So, there's a lot to unpack.
Yeah, exactly.
So, we don't know if
like people's money. There's a lot to unpack there, yeah, right?
Oh yeah, there's a lot. I don't know if there's any people who we know that have been directly affected.
Not
by this.
Personally, no.
I had a friend of mine who did have a Pledge Music campaign and was very hot on the news.
Right.
Of the oncoming
administration.
So she pulled her campaign before it had a chance to take any money from her fans.
Yeah,
which was
that's a good idea.
Very fortunate, and she was very lucky to sort of lucky that she had these kind of our kind of news outlets like the Harley and Josh show to kind of inform her on that.
Yes,
I'm pretty sure she didn't get her information from us.
Well, we might have informed somebody. But the letters also revealed some the recent members of Pledge Music board were interviewed. They attributed the company's insolvency to, this is a quote, the commission charged being insufficient to meet its expenditure. So basically, like when you put up a Kickstarter campaign or a crowdfunding campaign, you want to raise £5,000, but they will charge 10% on top of that.
Right.
So, maybe 500 quid. But basically, what they're saying is they weren't charging enough commission for it to cover it. The executives are basically saying that Pledge Music wasn't taking enough money from fans to cover what it promised to deliver. That seems to echo reports that artists were actually being paid with funds from others' campaigns that weren't finished.
Right.
So it's basically
it's
like a pyramid scheme. Basically.
Yeah. I'll pay you with this money that I've got from this guy, and I'll pay him with the money I'm going to get from that guy.
Yeah.
And this will keep going until there's one guy who's owed a lot of money.
Yeah.
And then we'll close up shop.
Just won't even use it.
Yeah.
So basically, Pledge Music's failed as a platform and has run off with about $9.5 million in artist money.
That's a lot of money.
And it doesn't look like it's coming back anytime soon.
I feel so sorry for people, because when you go into a campaign, like a crowdfunding campaign, it's often because you can't afford to do stuff. So these people who are doing these things, for the most part, aren't going to be of ample wealth that they can just absorb that loss, which is a real shame. But also, when you go into those things, you don't expect to have to fight for that money that you're owed. That money, that has been given to you by fans. Yeah. And the middleman.
Family as well, and friends.
Oh, yeah, the amount, because you must have...
be so embarrassing for some of these artists as well. Like, they've got nothing to be embarrassed about, but it would still make you feel embarrassed, wouldn't it? Yeah, and I'm fairly sure that, like, stuff like this will
will break up bands because you'll have bands who are so close to making their first album or their first EP, and you had a load of people go, "Yeah, we'll do it," and the longer it takes to be able to make that, and it can take the fun out of it and take the energy out of it to the point where they kind of lose interest and lose that passion for that one thing that was promising. That they had fans willing to pay for.
Well, sorry guys, but keep your ears and eyes open. Maybe there'll be a way for you getting money back.
Yeah.
Let's go on. Thing a thang I thought about this morning. Jingle. It's time for Thing a Thang I thought about this morning. So, Harley.
Yes.
Interesting topic of conversation for two white dudes here. Right, so pinch of salt here. But basically, US talk show host Trevor Noah, I follow his stuff on Daily Show quite a lot. He's generated controversy basically by saying that all rappers should release versions of their songs that don't use the N-word, so everyone can rap along to them. Now, this made me think, like, okay, so I do love my hip hop.
Yeah.
I know you do enjoy your hip hop as well. When tracks do have the N-word in it, everybody knows what we're talking about. We're not going to say it because it's just definitely not our word. Do you think that a rapper should release a version of his song without it in it?
That's very interesting. Like, that's a good question. I think that as long as there are versions of the songs that exist without the swear words in, potentially that could be put within the same context as being, an explicit content.
Yeah, the radio friendly kind of version.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. This is not what it's kind of saying. It's like, he was kind of joking about this. He's a comedian. So, but a lot of people have obviously taken it seriously. So many people are sitting there saying, well, there's a radio friendly version of it. So that's what it should be, right? That's what you're talking about. But what he's kind of saying is like a white people friendly version.
Right. Yeah. Okay. That context changes things a little bit. Yeah, it's interesting. Like, there are songs that I've heard that the N-word is a pivotal word within the song. And I'm not saying that word is contextually absolutely necessary,
right?
But for the rhythmic timing of the word,
true,
it flows in the best way. And I've heard versions of songs with the N-word taken out in the same way that I've taken with other swear words taken out, and it can ruin the flow.
Yeah.
And for me, that's fine, but I understand that there are, for younger audiences or for people who are offended by that kind of language, you don't want to close yourself off from a whole genre of music or from a whole album of music because you don't.
One Twitter user said they should just replace the N-word in a song with the word homie. It has the same syllables, but it doesn't rhyme with the N-word. And also, that's not always what it is. Sometimes they are rapping about oppression, being called that word.
I think that's where context is really a thing. Like there are songs that use the N-word that it's using it. They're paraphrasing what someone's called them, or and it's an interesting.
Yeah, you might say if they're talking about somebody this and they go, they are my N-word. They wouldn't call them their homie because it's not what their colloquialism would be, or it's not the way that they talk. So anyway, so points here, kind of that I wanted to sort of make was the fact of that it is such a hateful word that so many that we really can't use in any way that
we as in us.
I mean people other than black people.
Yeah.
There have been some Maori people that also Somalian people that have used it before, and kind of they've been called much similar words as well, but it's not really directly for them. But it's they've used it in their songs, so it is kind of means more acceptable because they've been oppressed a bit more.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like if we're getting annoyed at that we can't say a specific word, we can't decide what a word means or its history or what effect it has on other people.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think I'd feel like I don't have an opinion on the word, as in terms of whether it should be used, whether it shouldn't be used. Well, it's not my word You know, it's not my language. You know, if you think about it as a language kind of thing, that, it's a language
Colloquialisms
that,
and-
you know, people from other walks of life can use, but not only offensively, but use it. What's the word? As a nice word, you know. When they say to a friend, they call their friend, you know,
the N-word,
that's okay for them to use,
Yeah.
and it's okay for them to decide whether that is okay or not. Whereas it's not necessarily mine or our place to say.
Would you think that, you know,
there's no other word in the English language that really has this much kind of
controversy?
Yeah, it's not a swear word. But it's not a not swear word. It's a really, it sits in its own
slur,
category,
isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, so hypothetical situation here. What if you and I, in closed doors, away from people, without microphones?
Yeah.
It doesn't happen often. Oh, it does happen a lot. If we called each other N-words, still inappropriate.
Yeah. In the same way that it is also inappropriate to make inappropriate jokes. Yet people still do behind closed doors.
Yeah, that's true.
And so does that? But in a vacuum, is that taken out of? Is that out of the moral consensus because it's not to be heard by anyone else?
Right, and you're kind of bolstering it almost.
Yeah.
There's an interesting point to your point. Your previous point was by Trevor Noah. He said white people didn't think the N-word could be cool. I think that annoys a few white people. They thought it was only going to be used as a word of oppression. Then black people made it a cool thing, and then they were like, "Hey, I want it back now."
That's yeah.
That's not mean.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, it's awkward because I go on the side of don't make a white friendly version because it's just more censorship, and it's sort of like you have to change your art because people can't control themselves.
Yeah.
Right. It's like there's been people going off on Instagram. I can't remember her name. She's just an Instagram celebrity that was rapping along to words and didn't take that word out of it. She wasn't black, and then she came out sort of apologizing for it. And it's just like, come on, be sensible here.
Yeah.
Like if you're around people that you will offend, just don't use it.
I've heard white people sing songs with the N-word in live audiences and not adjust it, and those are particularly songs that can be replaced quite like this particular one. I sat there, I went, that's not cool,
Yeah.
and I went within 5 seconds, I went, just replace it with people,
Yeah.
and it would work.
Yeah.
You know, and it, you know that in the context of the song that was fine, but they just didn't realize, you know, or just weren't quite aware that wasn't okay.
Yeah, but I think it's education, isn't it?
Yeah.
But we all have to sort of learn what kind of is and isn't acceptable, and we can't choose, like you said earlier, we can't choose what is offensive to somebody else.
Yeah.
I mean, we can debate it with that person, but it doesn't mean that you can just come out and say it. I mean, you know, there's censorship and stuff, and there are your rights to be able to have free speech and be able to say whatever you want, but that doesn't stop people from being able to say to you, well, I'm going to challenge you on that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think if people are getting annoyed, I mean, so I'm just going to read a couple tweets out because he got quite a lot of hate online for this one.
Okay.
So one person says, substitute homie. Anyway, Kanye says he's going to re-engineer old music without swears. Is he going to take out the N-word as well?
Okay,
Kanye's doing that a lot. I was just like, yay. Oh, no. Somebody else says, Trevor Noah can keep his First Amendment infringing thoughts to himself, which it is kind of infringing First Amendment in America, which is your right to free speech. But, you know,
Yeah.
that does you're being stupid there. Like he's contradicting himself. He's like, you keep your First Amendment infringing thoughts to yourself. Like he's still allowed free speech himself. So
Is it infringing thought if you make two versions though? If you go, this one says exactly what I want, this says exactly what I want without the swears, and maybe without a few other words that may be controversial. But I'm still saying exactly, if you want to hear exactly what I'm trying to say, go this way.
yeah.
I'm pointing towards the one with the original lyrics.
Yes, exactly.
If
Yeah.
anyone who can't see me pointing.
One-
But like that I feel having alternatives is good, and it also stops you from.
I think it feels like it feels like then that the artist kind of doesn't trust its audience.
That's it. Yeah.
That breaks down that trust barrier. Somebody else put here was a little ragey one. Rap today is garbage. It has lost its roots. But the N-word used is not the same as the pejorative N-word. They are spelt differently and mean different things. They only sound the same, just like there and there. Instead of focusing on the word, focus on the context. I kind of understand that a little bit.
Yeah, that's a very good analogy using there and there.
Yeah.
Even to use two words that are spelt the same that have different meanings.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Duck and duck.
Understand that when someone says duck, you probably should lower your head.
Not just like, oh, where?
Get hit in the face.
By
a duck.
Duck, there's a duck, yeah.
Duck!
I just hit myself in the face. But yeah, what do you guys think? Do you think there should be, a censored version for just the N-word and leave the swears in, but just take the N-word out?
Yeah, tell us what you think. Cause
Yeah. We aren't particularly qualified to be talking about this.
No,
but it is still something that does affect us in a way. But yeah, thanks very much for that. Right, let's get on to our next section of the show. It's time for the gig list, Harley. Would you like to start us off, dear fellow?
Indeed. So we have on the 1st of November, that's Friday, isn't it? Yes, Friday. We have Albion Mills playing live at Salutations.
Well, goodness me. October 31st, we have Kursk and Obsessor at the Halloween gig at the Black Horse in Ipswich. That's Thursday at 7 o'clock. Yeah, that's going to be a good one. Nice little Halloweenies on a Thursday.
Awesome. I missed that completely. I do apologise. Going back to the 1st of November, we have BBC Introducing at the John Peel Centre. We have Gabby Rivers, Morgan Swan, and Sophie Mahon.
As well as Kyanos. Morgan Swan was the one we played earlier with his new single, Time Out. I think that's 7:30. That one's playing at John Peel
7:30
Centre.
starting, yep. So if you're in the area, you see some great music.
Shout out on Jill. November 1st, on the Friday, we've got the Three Busketeers.
Woo!
Their debut gig. So who's in that band, Harley?
So, I know they're very handsome.
And actually, Harley's not in this one. But...
Yeah, no. It's yourself, Josh, and Rich.
Oh, stop being nice to me. No, not the Buccaneers, the Busketeers.
Sorry.
So there's.
I'm really bad at this.
That's all right. So we've got Three Busketeers. I know that's Curtis Cully,
Three very handsome people. So
Mr. Oscar Charlton, and
and Joe Mamo on
Joe
the top.
Mamo. So yeah, that would be fun. That's at the
crumbs, is it?
Swan and Hedgehog in Ipswich on Friday at 8 o'clock.
Wonderful. So also at the. It's weird. Oh, that's interesting. So, Oscar's playing with the Three Busketeers at the Swan and Hedgehog.
Right.
Which means you can't do our gig with Chart Attack at the Swan in Holbrook.
Awkward. I just found this one out.
Yeah, no, we already knew about this.
Oh, okay.
So we got Tom McCarthy on guitar. So Chart Attack at the Swan in Holbrook this Friday.
Two swans,
Yes.
only one Oscar.
It's a Halloween party, so bring your best Halloween costumes.
What are you dressing up as?
I haven't worked this one out yet.
Yeah.
I really wanted to go dressed as Ferris Bueller.
Amazing. But it's your day off, so...
Yeah.
Okay, so that was the November the 1st. Let's get on to the 2nd, which is the Saturday at 7:30. Salvador, which we're going to finish the show off with, and Surge. That's 3 S's. I'm so glad I don't
But where is it?
It's at the Smokehouse. Salvador, and Surge at the Smokehouse on Saturday.
In Suffolk.
In Suffolk. Ipswich.
What time?
2nd at 7:30. Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Go on, do it all at once. 1, 2, 3, go.
Salvador Surge on Saturday the 2nd of November at the Smokehouse in Suffolk on Ipswich.
7:30.
Oh, 7:30, yeah, very good. So yeah, that'll be fun. That's if you like. Yeah, Salvador really good. We're going to play them at the end here from Framlingham. Nice indie vibes.
Awesome. So also on the 2nd of November we have the Glitter Shop, Amethysts, Our Quiet Friends who've already played, Substation, and Red X. They are going to be playing at the Hunter Club in Bury St Edmunds starting 6 o'clock.
Oh, that's a Saturday one. The last one we've got here, November the 3rd, which is Sunday at 7. There's too many. I'm really focusing on S's now.
It's all on K's, this one.
We've got a band called Foon. They're from Denmark. Kulk and Kilo Down. They're live at the Smokehouse. There's going to be loads. So that's the
Nice.
Sunday at 7 o'clock. There's
Yeah.
so much good original music
There's
happening
some
this
really
week.
good music this weekend. Yeah.
I would like to talk about where I'm playing, but I can't actually remember the top of my head. So is that the only show you're doing this weekend, Harley?
It's the only show I think, unless I find out
Very
I've got
nice.
another one, but no. I think
No, I've missed something huge here. Okay, so the second is this Saturday, isn't it? So the Saturday I am going to be playing at the Cosmic Puffin Doors.
Oh, yes.
So, Cosmic Puffin Doors. That's at Coda in Colchester. It's an amazing, amazing lineup full of people from Colchester and Suffolk. Hot Tramp are playing. I'm playing. Dystopian South Collective are playing. Pet Needs are playing. Ghosts of Men are playing. It's just an amazing lineup. So you need to get yourself down there. And it's all for charity. 10 quid all goes to Sally's Army, which is helping kids in hospital to have a bit more of a more comfortable stay if they have to stay in for a longer time. I'm also playing at the Freston Boot this Friday.
Dale in the book.
I'm going to be playing at the Freston Boot on Sunday as part of their bonfire night. They're doing loads of fireworks, and we're playing as the Buccaneers. It's a Buccaneers bonfire.
Nice.
So yeah, if you want to get yourself nice and cozy and warm with lots of really nice hot drinks and some great sing-alongs, that's this Sunday. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this, getting back on the ball with gigging.
Yeah, man. Awesome.
So thanks very much, ladies and gentlemen, for listening in today.
Thanks for having me back.
Yay!
We'll and we will see you all next week.
Yes, mate. Yeah. Make sure you check us out on Instagram. Our Spotify playlist has now been updated. We're on YouTube and all podcasts on Thursdays. Give us a like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and enjoy yourself.
If you usually listen to us on YouTube, we're having some issues with it at the moment, so just find us on other means. In the meantime, we're trying our best to get that back up and running.
Yeah, man. Enjoy yourselves. Right. This is Salvador with Ordinary Love. Enjoy your week. Bye.
Evil.